want to briefly talk about this story. Now, this is a rumor right now, but quite honestly, I kind of believe it because it sounds similar to something that happened just a couple of years ago in regards to the Spider-Man license between Marvel and Disney and Sony. But according to comicbookmovie.com and among other publications, Sony wants Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back for Spider-Man 4, and the Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, may also appear. I'll just read the article, then I kind of share my reactions to this and get your guys' thoughts on this too. Original big screen Spider-Man Tobey Maguire and the Amazing Spider-Man star Andrew Garfield reprised their respective roles alongside Tom Holland's MCU webhead for 2021 Spider-Man No Way Home, and the movie went on to become one of the biggest superhero successes in recent memory. So it shouldn't come as much of a surprise here that Sony Pictures is reportedly eager to replicate some of that box office glory by bringing Maguire and Garfield back for the next solo Spider-Man adventure. According to Daniel Richtman, the studio does indeed want both actors back to rejoin Holland for the currently in development, though still not officially announced, Spider-Man 4. He also mentions that Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, is set to appear, but Vincent D'Onofrio has not yet entered talks. Just a rumor for now, but again, would anyone really be shocked if this proved to be accurate? Of course, even if Sony does want Tobey and Andrew back, this doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen. Rickman also hints at possible conflict of interest with Kevin Feige, eager for the movie to be more grounded, while Sony wants it to be huge. And right, both Garfield and Maguire previously expressed interest in returning, so even if they don't show up at Spider-Man 4, we'd say there's a very good chance of them swinging by for Avengers Secret Wars, which I'm sure they will definitely feature in, no question. I've talked about Sony's Spider-Man films and Spider-Man films for quite some time now, and certainly the last couple of weeks. And obviously, I have not been a big fan of a lot of their live-action Spider-Man films, from the Venom movies to Morbius. Madam Web looks like it's going to be a dud, one of the biggest box office bombs of 2024, and certainly of Sony, all of Sony's superhero projects. And I'm not exactly excited for Kraven, of course. But, of course, there was a conflict between Marvel and Disney and Sony not too long ago. Obviously, there was the after Far From Home. There was talk about, all right, well, we're going to take him back and going to do our own films and not going to have him, hanging out with the Avengers, all these other comic book characters. And eventually that was figured out, and we got Spider-Man No Way Home and all these other movies and things. So that obviously happened. Now, in regards to this, personally, what I would want after, No Way Home is I would like kind of more a grounded Spider-Man. So I want a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man where he's in New York. He's not dealing with, cosmic aliens and multiverse mumbo jumbo. He's a hero of the people, of New York, of the neighborhood. And I'm not to say that you can't have him, interact with other Marvel characters. I would love to have him interact with more Marvel Street characters like Daredevil, like the Kingpin. I think that would be awesome. I'm a huge fan, as you guys may or may not know, of like 80s Spider-Man comics. Love those Gang War stories and him going up against, Kingpin and Hobgoblin and all that. Like, I love those. And so to see them kind of like either adapt some of that material or be influenced by that material, I think that would be great. But at the same time, I can also understand like why they would be interested in doing another Spider-Verse-esque movie. The last movie is one of the highest grossing films of all time. It made like $1.9 billion, nearly $2 billion. It's Sony's highest grossing film of all time. But, trying to replicate that might be difficult. And plus, we're living in a time where a lot of people are not going to see every single, superhero film, and we're getting a lot of, multiverse stories, some bad and some good. And so, it's kind of hard to replicate that success. And so personally, I would probably want the more grounded story at the end of the day. And this goes back to something I've been saying for a long time with Sony. Sony is just, I just don't understand what they're doing, honestly. Like, why they're making, like, Venom was a success, like, commercially. I think critically those movies suck. I've seen both of them. I think they're terrible films. But Venom is a very popular character for over 30 years now. Like, you can't deny that. I can't deny that. He just is, all right? I think that played a huge role into why those movies were so successful, especially the first one, which made like $800 million. The second one did not make nearly, so I think it made like $300 million less or something. But whatever, it still made money. But Morbius has been it was terrible. Madam Web, I mean, if you got any faith in Madam Web, I don't know what to tell you. And Craven too. I'm just like, yeah, just you making that rated R, it just still looks like a betrayal of the character. And I think Sony's been incompetent, I think, for quite some time. How they messed up the Amazing Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3. They're just the Amy Pascal and Tom Rothman, Avi Arad, they are a fucking albatross on the neck of Spider-Man and so many of his characters for years. And I didn't think they'd been making a lot of horrible decisions. But to this day, I cannot believe that is like they should have done this like way ahead of time, but they should have been having meetings the weekend that Spider-Man No Way Home had come out. And literally on that Friday or that Saturday or by the Monday of that week, they should have announced, hey, because they knew like this is going to be one of the biggest cultural phenomenons in the superhero genre ever. We have to double down on this, and we're going to announce a Spider-Man a movie starring Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. It's going to be their adventure together. It's going to be the two of them, and that's going to be our next big film, right? And eventually we'll do Tom Holland, Spider-Man 4 or whatever, but that's going to be our next. Like, why didn't you do, like, what I mean, what do you think? Because Tobey Maguire, I mean, I can at least speak for Tobey Maguire where he was like, I want to be Spider-Man again. He seemed to be so excited. He had not acted in a while due to a variety of reasons. But he's like, I'm very excited to be Spider-Man again. I want to keep being Spider-Man. I want to be in more movies. And so it's like, Andrew Garfield, I'm not sure. Andrew Garfield, apparently, according to this article, is saying he'd be interested in returning again. Sure, but especially Tobey Maguire. Why don't you didn't just announce that movie and then get your team involved? Get your whoever director you want. Maybe have Sam Raimi return or something. Get get that project moving. Like that. I can't believe that's just not announced. I'm now no big fucking movie executive, Chad. I'm just a schmuck. I'm a schlub, but, trying to eke out a living doing this. But I'm just like, why wouldn't you do that? That just maybe it makes too much sense, Chad. Maybe I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not seeing it like the way Sony does it. Like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to make the Morbius movie. We're going to make the Madam Web movie. That's what the viewers want. That's what the audience wants after watching No Way Home. They need a Morbin Time movie with Morbius and Madam Web. It's like, what? It doesn't make any sense. And even if you don't do that, then you're like, we still gotta capitalize this. Like, why not just do a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4 and have Sam Raimi return and do that? Where now it's 20 years. It's 20 years later after those films. Spider-Man, Tobey Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and MJ, they're in their 40s now at this point. You could have had somebody had a kid. I think that would have been a great way to introduce May Parker, their daughter, have her be Spider-Girl, and maybe that movie's about Spider-Man mentoring his daughter, Spider-Girl, to be, to carry on the Spider-Man tradition. I think that would have been, there's so many good ideas and possibilities. Or hell, you could have even done a third Andrew Garfield film, which I don't know if, maybe. I don't think those movies were good, but maybe capitalizing off the success and people's love for Andrew Garfield as the character, and we could see that story. Like the one line that still stands out to me this day in No Way Home, I thought was really interesting, and I liked it. It was a good performance by Andrew Garfield. Everyone did a good job, but like he has this line where he's talking about after Gwen died and how he just kept on doing it, tried to keep being that that amazing Spider-Man. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but he became bitter and he stopped pulling his punches. And I'm just like, what do you mean by that? Like, were you killing people? I would be interested to see like that movie. I think that would be kind of interesting. Or maybe, and then have Tobey in there too. Maybe he sees like his world and what he's kind of become and wants to help him. Like, there's so many different possibilities that they could have pursued. And I'm like, the fact that they just didn't is bonkers to me. I don't understand it at all. So, I mean, again, I absolutely think Tobey Maguire, I mean, obviously, the three Spider-Mans are going to be in Avengers Secret War. There's no question about that. And probably Kang Dynasty. They're going to both be in those movies. All three of them, obviously. No, I'd be shocked if they're not. But, and I think they're going to probably do one more Tom Holland film. I don't know if he's going to do a whole other trilogy because he seems to be getting like, I don't know. I don't want to just fall back on Spider-Man all the time. So if you're going to have like, one more movie, it'd be kind of cool to see like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But you could still get these guys to do their movies. And then eventually, introduce a live action Miles Morales, which they absolutely will at some point. But it's just so bizarre, the state of Sony over there and how they just didn't capitalize on their obvious successes. It's There's no excuse. There's no excuse for it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with these movies. I'm sure we'll get an announcement of some sort, especially after. There's no question after Madam Web flops, and it absolutely will flop. There's no question at this point. And inevitably, Craven will probably fail too, because it'll have the stench of Morbius and Madam Web attached to it. Sony's going to make an announcement of some kind in regards to their proper Spider-Man film. So we'll inevitably see. But how do you guys feel about this rumor and just kind of the state of Sony and their Spider-Man-less Spider-Man films? What do you guys want? What would you like to see in regards to Spider-Man, the future of cinematic Spider-Man films? I'm very curious. Now he's like, I don't know. Yes, Scum, Sony Cinematic Universe of Marvel is what they call it, Scum. That's funny. Hilarious. Sony gonna Sony. Madam Web, $1 billion blockbuster. Let's see. Maybe it'll do it. Maybe it'll defy expectations. That would be incredible. Let's be real. They're so desperate. Yep. Spider-Man belongs to the streets. He belongs to the night. He's Batman. I agree. We do need more Nickelback. We do need more Nickelback. I want to hear that song in one of their movies again. Hero. We need to hear it. We need to hear that Hero, chat. S&P, if you want to get Amazing Spider-Man 3, cool, but enough of these evil villain sagas. Oh, 100%. I'm 100% with you. Respot, Sony always has that one foot out the door, which is getting annoying. Commit one way or the other. Deadpool, Sony taking a step back from Spider-Man lets Disney make them a shitload. And that's what they did. I mean, people that say like, oh, well, Sony, what are you talking about? Like, Sony's made bad, live action Spider-Man films, like, the Holland trilogy. That wasn't Sony. That, creatively, that was Disney Marvel. There's no question. I think John Watts and those writers answered to Disney Marvel before they ever answered to Sony. Because it's just the quality. It's just so starkly different from each other. And in regards to the Spider-Verse animated films, again, I keep saying this, Sony had no idea what they had with those movies because both films, especially the first one, was low budget, compared to a lot of animated films and blockbusters. And they let those filmmakers and the producers and co-writers, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, do whatever the fuck they wanted. And when that became a huge success, they're like, oh, shit. Like, they had no idea what they had with that film. Batboy, meanwhile, Spider-Man sits in the corner while his parents fight over his custody. Yep. Playing the sad emo cover of Hero. Oh, my Lord. I hope someday Tom Rothman and Amy Pascal are fighting. Yeah, I don't understand why they're there. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't work. They try to do a Sinister Six movie, but Suicide Squad outdid that dream. I feel that the side character spinoffs just don't work. No question. They've been trying to chase that Sinister Six film for the longest time. They've just done it in such a pathetic way, like having like Michael Keaton's Vulture show up in Morbius for no fucking reason, and tell us like, hey, I want to talk to you about. I got plans, man. Why you be involved in them plans? And he's like, why? And Morbius is like, why? And he goes, Spider-Man. And Morbius, if I was Morbius, I'd be like, who the fuck is Spider-Man? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because Spider-Man doesn't exist in his universe, so why would he want to be involved in, like, I don't even know who you're talking. What? Excuse me? Oh, yeah. I think the reason why is because Sony has been trying to launch cinematic Spider-Man verse outside the MCU. Oh, no question. They thought they could do it, except they have no clue what they're doing. Now that the spin-offs are flopping, they're desperate. Yeah. Very well put. I want Sony to let Disney handle live action Spider-Man and let Spider-Verse team make their own cinematic. That would be fine. That right there sounds good to me. I like that. Let's do that. Morbius is like, huh? Bobby Kingpin be the main villain. Yeah, me too. And having him as a mayor, making people fear heroes, leading him to No, I agree. That's what I want as well. I want Kingpin as the main villain of a Spider-Man movie. That'd be awesome. Oh, God. Yeah, imagine a Spider-Punk solo movie or Spider-Gwen origin movie. Yeah, no, exactly. For the animated films, hell yeah. Or are you saying, like, even, like, I guess they could also do, like, live action if they wanted to. No. And I'm sure they will do spin-off movie. I think there is, like, a spin-off Spider-Gwen movie or Spider-Woman movie in some form of development. Best, line Madam Web is, you're caught in Madam Web. Oh, I bet they will. They'll do some web puns. Yeah, do Spider-Man 2099. That'd be cool. There's so much fucking potential. I just don't get it. It's bizarre. Yeah, that's what I want. Do a Tobey with Mayday Parker. We want Spider-Daddy. I would love that. Like, if they were to do, like, a Spider-Man 4 with just Tobey, even if it's just Tobey Maguire. I think that's cool. He's 20 years older now. He is in his 40s. Him and MJ have a kid, or maybe multiple kids. I don't know. Maybe they got fucking busy. But, they have a daughter. They have a teenage daughter, and she starts exhibiting his power, spider powers. He's like, all right, shit, I got to teach you. I think that would be really cool. That'd be a really cool story. And then you can bring in, like, a new villain for that. You can have Sam Raimi come back. I know originally he wanted to use the Vulture, like, for Spider-Man. You can find all that online, all the concept art and everything, and the storyboards, all of it. They couldn't probably do that because they did Michael Keaton's Vulture. It'd be like, all right, let's use it. They can do it like a new villain or something. And there's so many things that they could potentially do that could be really fun. Oh, Lordy. Yeah, Spider-Man Noir, that'd be relative. Yeah, there's a lot. But it's like, no, we got to do a Madam Web. I was like, if someone suggests, like, if someone, like, suggested a Madam Web movie, to be like, you're fired. Get out of my office. What are you talking about, Madam Web? Excuse me? A part of me thinks Spider-Verse universe will cross over the MCU eventually. I mean, they kind of have. Like, Venom was in the MCU for like a minute. They kicked his ass out of there quick. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Technically. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Spider-Verse. I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. Not the Sonyverse. Like the animated stuff. I wonder if they will. I'm curious if they would do that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not going to, poo-poo the idea. But at the same time, I'm just like, well, that could have some potential there. I don't know. I really don't know about that. That'd be kind of interesting what they would do. I do think we're going to get a live-action Miles Morales. I think it's going to be a new version of the character, not like the Miles that we have in the movies, like the animated movies. I think it'll be like a whole new Miles. Because they established that, Donald Glover is the Prowler, and, he's Aaron Davis, who's the uncle of Miles. So we'll see. White Rabbit. Let's get White Rabbit as the villain. Oh, man. Remember when Tom Rothman greenlighted an lecture movie that no one asked for? And the movie was released and was somehow worse than X-Men Origins Wolverine. Oh, man. Oh, my Lord. Beyond would be like Bruce Almighty. Oh, Sony, when will they learn? Never. At least not with the people that are in charge. If we get a live-action Prowler of Donald Glover, we might actually have. Now, that would be interesting. Now, and the thing is, I'm not actually 100% against doing these one-off movies, even focusing on villains, but do them right. I've talked about this before. I feel like could you do, would I prefer to see actually an adaptation of Kraven's Last Hunt? Have it be like maybe, is it connected to Holland's films or whatever? Maybe just like a standalone movie. That would be interesting to me, right? But it's like, okay, we got to do that. It'll be a Kraven movie. And I feel like, and I've talked, you guys have mentioned this before. I've had details to it, but like treat that movie like Predator. Like, have it where Kraven, like, it takes place, South American country or something, and he's chasing down these kind of D-list supervillains, Like, he goes up against the superior foes of Spider-Man, like Shocker and Beetle and Speed Demon, and they're like, who the fuck is this guy? He's, like, picking them off one by one. It's kind of the structure of a Predator, but it's, like, rated R. It'd be like, I'm like, that's interesting. Similar to something, like, whether you like the movie or not, similar to, like, Joker, right? Like, that would be cool. These kind of more contained films, if you will. But they never would do that. At least I feel like they never would do that. Let's be right. I feel like studio executives only know Spider-Man and Batman. Yeah, no, because that's the only stuff that they think like works. They don't want to take like big risks. Black Cat seems the most obvious. That would work. Yeah, Black Cat I think could work. Black Cat could work. Sure. Let's see here. I would like Madam Web if they went on a full animated series. Madam Web. I was never even a big fan of that. I've never been a big fan of the Madam Web character. I'm like, I don't really understand you. I don't get how you work personally, but that's just me. I want Spider-Man 4 to have Kingpin as the main villain, Prowler as his... Ooh! I like this. And Prowler as his right-hand man, you can introduce Miles as a friend of Peter. I like that a lot. That's a good idea. Oh, shit. Now, there you go. There you go. That's cool. Because then you have the Kingpin, who's the more, cerebral threat, but then Prowler, he can be the more physical threat to Spider-Man. The Spider-Mans, if you will. I like that idea. That's very good. Fucking green like that. And then Daredevil's in there too. Daredevil's in the mix. Yeah, that's the movie I want. That's the fucking movie I want right there. Hell yeah. Let's go. Make it. Do it. Oh, Lordy. I think Marvel should go a DC route and could do a horror movie with the Lizard. Yeah, like The Fly. Be like David Cronenberg's The Fly. Like there's like inspired ideas. And they don't have to exactly be like huge budget either. Like there's ways to do these things. But they're just not, they're just doing it wrong. Black Cat could work, but she'll get cat-like superpowers to beat she'll get bit by a cat. Now she has cat powers. Just like in all those other movies, like in Batman Returns and and what was it? Catwoman with Halle Berry, where a cat literally vomits in her mouth. Oh my God. Lordy. Hate it. Prowler is heisting Oscorp. Peter accidentally turns Norman together. Ooh, yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, there's, again, great possibilities. Venomous Catwoman for dudes, and you can't change my mind. They have a lot in common. There's no doubt. Yeah, chat. So I just want to talk about this. Great ideas from all of you. Great feedback, too. But I am, I don't know. I'm just not excited for any of these Spider-Man films. We'll see what happens inevitably.